A man is jealous when he loves a woman, even when she does not love, because the admirer is won by other women disappear from the circle of her admirers. A person can become a person only through education. Every person is what education made him. A wise man can change his men, a fool never. Act only according to that maxim by which you can at the same time that it should become a universal law. All our knowledge begins with the senses, proceeds then to the understanding, and ends with reason. There is nothing higher than reason. All the interests of my reason, speculative as well as practical, combined in the three following questions. 1. What can I know? 2. What ought I to do? 3. What may I hope? An evil person cannot be happy, for being alone with himself, he remains alone with the villain. Beauty presents an indeterminate concept of understanding, the sublime and indeterminate concept of reason. Character is the ability to act according to principles. Children should be brought up not for the present, but for the future, perhaps a better state of the family. Dare to think. Have the courage to use your own intelligence. Death is most afraid of those people whose life has the greatest value. Do not treat others as a way to achieve your own goals. Enlightenment is man's emergence from his self-incurred immaturity. Experience without theory is blind, but theory without experience is mere intellectual play. For peace to reign on earth, humans must evolve into new beings who have learned to see the whole first. Genius is the ability to independently arrive at and understand concepts that would normally have to be taught by another person. Give a person everything that he desires, and at the same moment you will feel that this is not everything. Happiness is not an ideal of reason, but of imagination. Have the courage to use your own mind, think your own thoughts, and live your own life. He who fearfully cares about how not to lose his life will never rejoice in this life. He who is cruel to animals becomes hard also in his dealings with men. We can judge the heart of a man by his treatment of animals. Humanity is the ability to participate in the fate of other people. If a man makes himself a worm, he must not complain when he is trodden on. If you punish a child for what is bad and reward for what is good, then you will do good for the sake of profit. If you still have a desire for sex after 40, it means that there is still so much life left to be lived. In action, to have moral worth must be done from duty. It is not thoughts that need to be taught, but thinking. Man is the only being who needs education. Man must be disciplined, for he is by nature raw and wild. Marriage is the union of two people of different sexes with a view to the mutual possession of each other's sexual attributes for the duration of their lives. Morality is not the doctrine of how we may make ourselves happy, but how we make ourselves worthy of happiness. Nothing is divine but what is agreeable to reason. One looking into a puddle sees dirt in it, the other stars reflected in it. Only he who himself enlightened is not afraid of shadows. Only the descent into the hell of self-knowledge can pave the way to godliness. Out of the crooked timber of humanity, no straight thing was ever made. Rules for happiness: something to do, someone to love, something to hope for. Science is organized knowledge. Wisdom is an organized life. Simply to acquiesce and skepticism can never suffice to overcome the restlessness of reason. Sometimes we have to deny knowledge in order to make room for faith. Space and time are the framework within which the mind is constrained to construct its experience of reality. The ability to ask reasonable questions is a sign of intelligence and discernment. The busier we are, the more acutely we feel that we live, the more conscious we are of life. The cheerful expression on the face will gradually be reflected in the inner world. Smile. The death of dogma is the birth of reality. The destiny of a woman is to rule, the destiny of a man is to reign, because passion rules, and the mind reigns. The freedom to wave your arms ends at the tip of the other person's nose. The life of people devoted only to pleasure without a reason and without morality has no value. The more habits, the less freedom. The reading of all good books is like a conversation with the finest minds of past centuries. There is something splendid about innocence, but what is bad about it in turn is that it cannot protect itself very well and is easily seduced. Thoughts without content are empty, intuitions without concepts are blind. To be is to do. Two things fill my mind with ever-increasing wonder and awe, the more often and the more intensely the reflection dwells on them, the starry heavens above me and the moral law within me. We are not rich by what we possess, but by what we can do without. What is beautiful is what you like regardless of the meaning. Whoever has given up excesses has gotten rid of hardships. Without man and his potential for moral progress, the whole of reality would be a mere wilderness, a thing in vain, and have no final purpose. Women make even the men more sophisticated. You should not fear being refuted. You should fear something else, to be incomprehensible.